Yeah, good morning. Uh, yeah, I see. 222. Why 222? I don't know. Because I'm not going to wait any longer. I've been awake since midnight or so. I went to bed, turned out the lights. Well, actually, I turned out the lights later than that, but I fell asleep probably around 8:30. Anyway, I'm here. I'm up. And here's the title for this next video. God's intent is wholeness for everyone. What a difference a day makes. Yesterday, when I woke up, my meditation was like hearing a cacophony in my head, as if multiple radio stations were trying to all play at the same time. Today, my meditation was one of focus and clarity. The night before last, in our monthly love line, I felt overwhelmed and defeated, as if I could not possibly complete my mission of creating peace on earth, a world that works for everyone. The truth is, I cannot win that battle, at least not the part of me that wants to defeat an enemy. I saw in the eyes of one person the soldier or policeman that was being transformed, and in the eyes of yet another, a wounded child that was crying out to be loved. The love in my heart was able to appreciate the transforming warrior and to embrace the wounded child. Both are me. The Creator's intent is for me to be whole, which is the same for all of us. That can only happen by our remittance and surrender to the highest good for all. Indeed, when I shared with the ambassador yesterday what I had experienced that morning, and I don't know how much I explained to him about the love line experience from the night before, but I know it was like a cacophony in my head, and that's how it's been actually for the past few days. I mean, I even felt in Tuesday, I even felt intense pain almost all day in my heart. You know, some would say, Ron, go to the doctor, get that checked. In fact, that's what the ambassador told me. Well, I don't go to doctors to get things checked. I see everything as being a message from God, and I don't see it as something wrong. I see it as something that needs correction, and God's working on it. Now, maybe that's naive, and I'm not telling anybody else to do it my way, but that's how I've been handling pains in my body, aches and pains, for a long time. Even if the fear comes up initially, I get to the place where I say, okay, I surrender to God's will. I'm letting God work this thing out. It's not up to me to fix it. Now, I know that may sound totally naive, as we've been programmed. It's naive to my own programming, but it's something that I've been doing for a long time. And the love line is also something that I've been doing for several years. I've been doing the emotional healing workshops for over 20 years. But the love line was something that my friend Margie added, I don't know how many years ago it's been now that she began doing that way. But the love line, for those of you that don't know, is when however many people are in the group. The love line was 10 people on Wednesday night. And you rotate so that every person gets to look at every other person eye to eye. We put the right hand on the other person's heart and our left hand over the other person's hand, so that we're heart to heart and eye to eye through an entire song that is a spiritual song, like It's in Every One of Us to Be Wise. You know, that's one of the songs that plays, and various other songs play. Like The Rose is one of the songs that plays. Anyway, you get to look into the other person's soul. And the whole thing is about what you experience. What comes up for you as you're looking into the window of the soul of that other person? Because all you're going to see is reflections of parts of you. So that when you're looking into the eyes and you're seeing the warrior, the policeman, the soldier, and by the way, that individual was a soldier, was a policeman, or a police person. This is the reality for that person, but it's also a person who is being transformed. As we are all, if we're willing, we're all being transformed. We're all being taken to a higher level. And to the other individual, there was a wounded child in there. But what was I seeing? I was seeing my own wounded child. Because when we look into the eyes of another person without judgment and just feel whatever feelings come up in the moment, right now, if you're in your head, you're in your head. If you're in your heart, you're in your heart. Be aware of where you are. Be aware if you're thinking things. Be aware if you're feeling things. Learn to know the difference between what you think and what you feel. What you feel is a guidance system. What you think is a program. And we are all programmed. We need to get beyond the programming to the guidance system. That's what Aristo keeps trying to tell us in various ways. That it is about experiencing the human experience. It is about finding our own sense of meaning, the one that's beyond the programming of the matrix. Because we're not going to get out of the matrix as long as we're operating the program of the matrix. And to transform that and to transcend that is not about going to war. It's about recognition. It's about remitting or committing ourselves to something higher, to something that is more inclusive, to stopping the battle, to surrendering the fight, to something beyond ourselves, which is actually not beyond at all. It is our higher self that's trying to work things out and to bring conclusion to this whole mess we call human life and to see the beauty in it. Yes, after I was arrested again, or I don't see them as arrests, I see them as assaults, but it's programming. The cop that was so angry at me, if I could stand and look into his eyes in a love line, I'll bet you I would see a wounded child. He was a black man. I bet I could see a man who wasn't taken seriously, and now he's got a uniform and a gun, and you're going to listen to me, damn it. You're going to listen to me. You're going to do what I tell you to do. I'm the boss. That's the wounded child. That's the wounded child in a uniform. I didn't see that night. All I wanted to do was to find out why. Why are you treating me like this? But I was having played back to me in my life experience a part of myself. A part that feels that nobody listens. Will you listen to me, damn it? Why? Because I want you to listen. Because I want you to do what I say. I want you to hear me. I want you to know me. Is that what that cop was doing to me? He was just operating the program of the matrix, the program that he had been trained. But underneath that, as I saw in my friend who was a soldier, who was a cop, as I saw that, I realized, hey, this one is being transformed. If one of them can be transformed, why can't all of them be transformed? Are we not all cut from the same fabric of life? Are we not all in the same wheel of life? Are we not all on the same journey? Are we not all prodigal sons and daughters of the same Creator? You know, one of the things that was creating the cacophony was all of the criticism of the ambassador, who, by the way, he's not a Chineseman. He's not a Chinaman. He's a European. And the family is not just located in China. The family is all over the world. Some of the family is awake. Some of the family is not awake. Some of the family wants the best for humanity. Some of the family wants to keep the old system in place. Now, who is this family? Well, they represent the creation. They represent the Creator. As above, so below. They are us. They are us. We can see them as separate. We can think that we've got to win a war against the family, against the hierarchy or the ruling elite. We can see that as our mission. I thought it was my mission. And I got to the place where I realized that the mission was bigger than I could possibly handle. And Margie, when I talked to her yesterday, she said, I wasn't smiling, I wasn't laughing at you when you were saying how you felt. I was saying in myself, he's finally reaching the place of surrender. Interesting, huh? And you that were criticizing the ambassador, I've seen the warrior in the ambassador, and I've also seen the lover. That's in all of us, don't you understand? We are not at war with each other. We are at war with the part of ourself, the part of ourself that is fragmented, the part of ourself that has been unable to reach a place of seeing and embracing the wounds that we must embrace to heal them. You say, embrace the wounds. I want to get away from what hurts. No. Aristo's been telling you the same thing. I've been telling you the same thing. It's not about running away. It's not about escaping. It's not about denial. It's not about any avoidance, doing the avoid dance. It's not about that. It's about embracing. It's about loving. Love is the only thing capable of transforming anything. And love is inclusive. It's not exclusive. Maybe that's what the married lady was trying to tell me. It's about inclusivity. Now, I'm on the sexual thing, I'm not ready to go there yet. I thought I was earlier in the year. I'm not. But here's what I'm seeing in today's clarity. I'm seeing that I can't win the battle when I'm looking at it as a battle. I can only win it by feeling helpless. And in my vulnerability of helplessness, I find a strength that is also my strength. But I can only access that strength through my weakness. Isn't that what the Apostle Paul said? When I am weak, then I am strong. The thing that I would do, I don't do. And the thing that I want to do, or thing that I don't want to do, that I find myself doing. So it's no more I, a cop-out, but sin that lives in me. And it's doing, the sin takes the responsibility, or the devil made me do it. We cop out a lot, don't we? But it's all us. Do you not understand? It's all us. When you look at the world and you see God and the devil, you see two warring factions. And if you're trained in the modern programming, the devil is winning, right? Because the devil is the god of this world, according to Scripture, right? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. We're trained, we're programmed in the matrix to fight, to fight, to fight. And all the while, Jesus was telling us, and Buddha was telling us, and Muhammad was telling us, and all the prophets have been telling us, no, it's about loving your neighbor. It's about being hospitable. It's about being generous. It's about being liberal. You conservatives. A liberal heart is an expansive heart that's able to embrace a wider array of possibilities, rather than the narrow, it's us against them, and we've got to win because the world will never be what we want it to be until we win. Well, as long as that's the attitude of the dragon family, or of the human family, or of any family, a house divided against itself cannot stand, and an individual divided against him or herself cannot find peace. So what has been happening through all of this experience and through all of these feelings that I've been feeling is a revelation that brings me yet another step closer to my own wholeness, which is nothing more than healing. And it will heal me body, soul, and spirit. I don't have to go running off to a programmed doctor or an allopathic system to find out what's wrong with me, because what's wrong with me is simply I'm undergoing transformation, and sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes I get lost. Sometimes I feel helpless and hopeless, and all the feelings that I've tried to push down, all the feelings that I've tried to convince my wounded inner child were not true, were just an illusion. All of those things have to come up and be embraced. They have to come to the place where we're willing to embrace and love ourselves as we are, and to see in ourselves all the things that are reflected to us by other people, other humans, or other situations. All of those things we start to see, well, how do I relate to that? Where is that in me? And sometimes I say, but it's not in me. And the universe says, but it is. But it is. You just don't want to see it yet. But it is. It's in every one of us to be wise. Are you going to be wise enough to allow love to do its transforming work in you, and know that love does not work by exclusion but by inclusion? God's intent for everyone is that we each become whole. Thank you for listening, and namaste.